Hi, my name is April Foster. I'm going to show you 4 ways to use the Bible Facts flashcards that go with the Shaping Hearts for God material. All right, so the first way is just a traditional way, and you'll notice all of my cards are set up with the books. What is the book of whatever about? On the front, nothing on the back. And then printed separately are the answers. All right, so I will start with the first book of the Bible in just a traditional way, and that is just saying, what is the book of Genesis about? And I will ask that to the child. And then they will, if they do not know the answer, I will hold up the answer card and we will walk through it together. Creation, flood, Tower of Babel, having them, if they're a non-reader, repeat after me and say those words out loud. If they are a reader, they can just read it out loud. Then I'll go to the next kid, same thing. What is the book of Genesis about? And they may try to do it without it because they've looked at their neighbor. Again, not cheating. And that is an important thing, is it's not a cheating to look. We're all here to learn. And if they look like they might have it, I'll say, okay, think about that picture in your mind. What do you see? And then I'll reveal it if they need to, and keep going on and on until you get to the last child. That's the traditional way. The second way is half match. So the way that works is I'll lay all of the, or whatever, however many I'm working on at the time. You want to start small. So start with 3 or 4 if they're the younger kids, maybe 5 or 6 with the older kids. So it's not to overwhelm them with too much information all at once. As they're learning them. And then, so we'll lay those. So let's say we're doing the first 4 books of the Bible. We'll lay those right side up on the table. So Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. And then I will mix up the answers and lay them upside down on the table in a grid format. The way that will work is we'll start with Genesis. I'll ask the first child, what is the book of Genesis about? And if they know it, they say it. And if they don't, I prompt them with what it is, and we repeat after me. And then they can, once they've told me what it is, they can reveal a card and try to find the right one. Let's say they turned over spying out the promised land, wandering in the wilderness. We'll say, wrong, doesn't go with Genesis. What does this go with? It goes with Numbers. And that way, that's a clue to the child that's coming next, that once we get to Numbers, that's where this card is. All right, so that goes upside down. Then you move to the next child. What is the book of Genesis about? Let's say they turn over the right one. Great. We're just going to lay that one right beneath the book of Genesis. And then we will go on and say, okay, what is the book of Exodus about? And repeat that process over and over until we find the books that match. That's half match. All right, the third way to do it is a full memory match game. And the way this works is you set up 2 grids on the table upside down. So face down, the books, the questions, what is the whatever book about? And then the other grid of whatever the answer is. You'll start with, what is the book of Genesis about? Or they'll turn over a card and whatever it is. Let's say it's, what is the book of Leviticus about? And before they can turn over what they think is the potential answer, on the other grid, they have to tell you what the book of Leviticus is about. Let's say they miss it and they turn over Moses leading Israel out of Egypt, receiving the law. They have to tell you that goes back with the book of Exodus. And we'll keep repeating. So it's good and important to reinforce them knowing the Bible facts both directions. Both what is the book about, and then once you turn over the answer, or where can we read about those events? And so it's good to know both bi-directionally. All right, and then the last way is one of my favorite teaching devices, which is Expert. This is available just about anywhere. There's a Bluetooth version available on Amazon if you're like me and you like the cords. That you can get these off of eBay, and they just work with a battery. And I never use the buzzers to buzz in, because I found it's more about who's clicking fast enough to get the answer than it is how to use the device, which is just to randomly select a kid and keep them all engaged in what's going on. So I will start the buzzer, and so I'll turn it up so you can hear kind of what it sounds like. So it'll select, you can turn this up or down, it doesn't have to be this loud. And then it'll select a child. So if you don't have 6 kids in class, you can turn off. Okay, so while that's buzzing, or while it's selecting a child, so while it's going through it, I'll say, okay, be thinking in your heads, what is the book of Genesis about? So they'll be thinking in their heads, what is it about? And while they're watching it select who it's going to land on, and that way if it's them, they can quickly answer before the buzzer goes off. And then we'll move on to the next one. What is the book of Exodus about? And so on and so forth. Love this. I'll use it lots of times in various ways that you'll see coming up. So those are 4 ways that I use the Bible Facts flashcards.